So, latest reports have come out that Kawhi Leonard is refusing to play in San Antonio, despite being medically cleared, and I think Popovich is a little pissed. And why wouldn't you be pissed? Your best player, your best team, and you're trying to work new pieces in. I mean, Popovich obviously has been trying to work in the young guns all year. Murray, all these guys replacing, and Aldridge is obviously taking on a bigger role, so Aldridge is probably not going anywhere anymore. See, I personally think that Popovich will convince Kawhi Leonard to stay in San Antonio because Tim Duncan almost went to Orlando, and Aldridge requested a trade in the offseason. So I just think Popovich has that quality in him that most coaches don't have, where he can sit down with a player and convince him to stay. So I think if Popovich and Kawhi get in a room alone and they talk out their problems, I think everything will be fine in the organization. Now, my real problem here is why is Kawhi doing this? I don't know why Kawhi is doing this because he doesn't want to play, obviously. It's him. It's nobody else. It's just Kawhi. I feel like this is on Kawhi Leonard more than it is on the other guys because I feel like Kawhi Leonard is like limiting himself because he already got cleared. He could play post All-Star break all he wants to, but he's mad at the Spurs for mismanaging it last time because he had to go out after 9 games. So now that he's salty about that, it's just I don't think that he'll be able to be like, oh yeah, San Antonio, bringing roses, I feel like he's a little salty now. So now that you got him all mad and pissed, I don't know if you can really change that opinion because I mean, it sucks. I like Kawhi Leonard as a guy. He's a good person, quiet guy. Obviously, he hasn't been talking. I feel like he does need to communicate more with the Spurs. I hope he doesn't get traded. I don't want to live in a world where, there's no Kawhi with Pop. Kawhi with Pop has been exceptional. And now, you never know. He could be a system player. I don't think he's a system player. I feel like if he goes to the Celtics or something, he could be a fucking monster in the Brad Stevens system. I don't know why this is all happening with the Spurs, but I feel like this is all an easy solve right now. I feel like the media is just trying to overdo this because they know they don't have a story right now. I personally feel like the Spurs will be fine. I think they'll keep Kawhi, and Kawhi will go to the next free agency and re-sign with the Spurs. I just don't think, I think once the basketball goes on the court, there are no problems once you get on the court and you start playing, I feel like this is just a playing thing, you know what I mean? It's just Kawhi is just frustrated. He hasn't been able to play. He probably dropped a statement in the media. So I feel like the media is overhyping this story. I don't think it's really a story in my eyes. Like I said, I see Pop keeping Kawhi at all costs. I see Pop is all compromiser. Pop will always compromise to his stars. He always defer. He let his stars, pick and choose, system-wise. He knows how to work out players, and he knows how to work with people. So I feel like Popovich is the master guy. So I feel like for him, this is kind of funny because he's like, wait, why does he want to trade from my system? What? You know what I mean? I feel like LaMarcus Aldridge was the first player to demand a trade, and then he went to the offseason, and he got all fine. So I feel like the egos will mesh a little bit in the summer, but I feel like Popovich will take both of them, sit them down, give them a good talk, and then I think Kawhi Leonard will ultimately decide to stay with the Spurs. I feel like the Spurs are a good enough organization. I feel like you can't hold it against the organization for one little mistake. All organizations make mistakes, and I feel like this is a very minor mistake that I feel like they can easily correct as long as they sit down with Kawhi Leonard and get it done. I do think this impacts the Spurs in terms of free agency. This is why I think they have to clear this up and get Kawhi back because if this leaks out and it ends up being all the Spurs, and even if Kawhi leaves, they're always going to blame the organization more than the player. The player doesn't really get much of the blame, even if the player was the one mismanaging. So that's a little double standard there for you. in the NBA. There's obviously always this double standard. You know, the player always gets away and the organization gets crap. Like, that's what happened in Cleveland, and that's what happened in all these places. All these players left. They blamed the organization. Kevin Durant blamed the organization. Oklahoma City, bad organization, blah, blah, blah. You know, it's always organizational. They never look at the player. They never give the player any sort of blame. It's always the organization. So Kawhi Leonard, I think, will be fine wherever. But I personally, I don't know why Kawhi is doing this. If Kawhi has like a good 25 games and he plays well in the playoffs, that would just boost his trade value. So what do you got to lose at this point, right? 25 games, what, you got like 40 games left? You could condition for maybe 10 of them. You play well. You get good playing time. I don't know why Kawhi is doing this. I feel like this is more of an ego clash. Like I said, it's going to happen from time to time. The Spurs are going to be, you got a bunch of guys, you got a bunch of egos on there. Once you start to get guys like Aldridge and Leonard, and it's just how it works. You just have to work through it, and I think Kawhi Leonard will get a sit down from him, or Tim Duncan could walk and give him a sit in too. So you never know. It's always interesting to see how things will work out, but I do think the Spurs can work this one out, and I think Kawhi Leonard will be fine. So yeah, Kawhi Leonard and Pop will be fine. So you guys can dismiss this. Don't think there's anything here in the story.